I've got a very limited number of desires as to what I want to see my children become. First of all, I want them to be happy. And we all know whether we're happy or not, and that's what I want for them, happiness. I want fulfillment. Whatever talent they've got, and we've all got some kind of talent, use it. Because if you're not using it, you'll be a square peg in a round hole and you will be unhappy. And I want to see self-contained children. That means I don't want to be supporting them into their late 20s and 30s. I don't want the government to be supporting them. I want them to be self-contained. Happy, fulfilled, self-contained. If you got that, they don't have to make $1 million. If you've got that going for you, then you are a good parent and you will be a happy parent.
What's doing, everybody? Welcome to First Class Fatherhood. I'm Alec Lace, and before I hit you with today's interview, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the link in the description so you can listen to all of the interviews I've done with so many tremendous dads, including Dana White, Deion Sanders, Tony Hawk, and so many others. Now let's get going with today's interview. Joining me now, First Class Father, Stuart Varney. Welcome to First Class Fatherhood.
Alec, great to be with you. What can I do for you?
Let's start it right here. How many kids do you have? How many grandkids?
Okay, at latest count, Alec, it is 6 children and 10 grandchildren.
Wow, yeah. Congratulations on all the grandkids there. I'd have you go through the names and ages, but that would take up the rest of the program here. So if you could, Stuart, please just take a second to hit my listeners with a little bit about your background and what you do.
Okay, born and raised in England, came to America in the early 1970s as a married man, came here, got into television, very fortunately, and that's what I do for a living right now. But as far as my family is concerned, well, I've got these 6 children spread out over about 20-year period here, and the grandchildren, they're spread out over about a 16-year period. Now that's where I'm coming from here. I want to make one quick point, if I may, Alec. Look, when you become a parent, mom or dad, for the first time, I think, you realize love at first sight, because that's what happened to me. Your first child, any child, you see that child when it's newborn, and instantly we are hardwired to love them completely, without any ands, ifs, or buts. You love them to death, love at first sight. That's what happened to me.
Yeah, very well said, Stuart. I'm right there with you. I have 4 kids myself. We have 3 boys, and then we got the girl on the 4th try. Otherwise, I'd be catching up to you, but we got her on the 4th try. Now, for my wife and I, the transition of going from 2 to 3 was the most challenging for us because our first 2 were 15 months apart. What would you say out of the 6 kids that you had? What was the most challenging transition as far as number of kids?
I'm with you, actually. The third. I think that was a challenge. I mean, you handle the first, you're a newcomer, you're trying to figure out what on earth to do, you think you got it down. The second one comes along, well, you got 2 hands and 2 people, so you're in reasonable shape. And then, the third comes along. That's kind of a shock. But number 4, number 5, number 6, that you can handle. When you got your first child, you're all over them. You're really very protective. But the time you've got your number 6, they're juggling with knives. I'm telling you, Alec, all kinds of good stuff coming.
Yeah, I've seen that with just having the 4 of them here. Yeah, definitely. Our first year of having that 3rd child felt like one long day, really, is what it felt like for us. What would you consider to say here, Stuart? What would you say are the top values that you would hope to instill in all your kids growing up?
Well, I think every parent has a desire for what they want in their children. I've got a very limited number of desires as to what I want to see my children become. First of all, I want them to be happy. And we all know whether we're happy or not, and that's what I want for them, happiness. I want fulfillment. Whatever talent they've got, and we've all got some kind of talent, use it. Because if you're not using it, you'll be a square peg in a round hole and you will be unhappy. And I want to see self-contained children. That means I don't want to be supporting them into their late 20s and 30s. I don't want the government to be supporting them. I want them to be self-contained. Happy, fulfilled, self-contained. If you got that, they don't have to make $1 million. If you've got that going for you, then you are a good parent and you will be a happy parent.
Yeah, great stuff, Stuart. And then on that, getting in here right into what you do. A lot of the times I get it from a lot of the young men. The number one reason why they're afraid of starting a family or having kids is they say it's too expensive. I can't afford it. It costs too much. And from my experience, talking to people that are 60 and older that don't have any kids, the cost is much greater. But what kind of financial advice could you give to say that that couple that's just starting out, they're just on the onset, maybe just got married or getting married and planning on having a family? What's the best piece of financial advice you could give to them?
Those people are in maximum financial distress. Look, you're just starting out. You're trying to get ahead in careers, man and woman. You're trying maybe to get your first house. You're trying to build yourself up. And along comes a child, and you know that that's going to be expensive. So that is a huge financial challenge for young people. If I've got any advice to give, I would give this: save something out of your income. No matter what it takes, save something. Because your income, this is America, you're going to be up and coming into the middle class. Somehow or other, you'll have more income in the years to come. But if you establish that early on discipline of saving something, no matter what it takes, no matter what you've got to give up, save something, because you need a cushion. You're going to need it badly.
Yeah, well said, Stuart. And then on that, we hear a lot from people that want this college tuition forgiveness. So many people are buried in college debt now. Maybe those parents that are just starting out, they're still paying off their college tuition and maybe trying to save for their own kids' college tuition. So I've had a lot of different entrepreneurs on here that have had a lot of success. I'm curious to get your opinion. Right now, in this current market that we live in here, is a college degree, college education necessary to succeed in today's world?
Oh, that's a very good question, Alec. I'm not sure how to answer it, because I don't want to say, it's a waste of time or it's not worth it. That's not the case. I don't want to say that. But I think we're at the point where we really are starting to question, is a college degree actually worth it? Bearing in mind the enormous cost and the possibility of paying off a loan way into the future, is it really worth it? I tell you something. I gave some of my kids, my younger kids actually, I gave them a choice. Okay, you want to go to college? Here's the choice. I'll give you the money to go to college. I've done okay financially, so I'm in a position to say that. I'll give you the money, or and you can go to college, or I'll give you the money and you start a business. Which do you want? Well, I'm not going to tell you quite how that worked out, but 5 of my 6 went to college. The one who didn't go to college did start his own business and is now worth $1 million. Shall I leave it at that?
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I try to encourage my kids. My oldest is 15 now. Education important, yes, but it seems like right now the market is open for people to start their own businesses online. Even there's people that are drop shipping and just crushing it by building up their own brand, their own businesses online here. So the possibilities and the opportunity, I think, is better than it's ever been here. And then bringing it back into what you do here. This has obviously been a crazy year, or since the pandemic, financial wise. We've seen the stock market go down. Nobody knew when it was going to come up. It went up higher than it was. This cryptocurrency, Dogecoin, is going crazy and bonkers. And then we also had this GameStop stuff going on. So what does it look like right now here? What are you seeing in the next 6 months that we can expect to see in the financial market here? And what is your opinion on this cryptocurrency?
Everybody at the moment is anxious because you've had this fantastic run up in stock prices. I mean, we've been going straight up virtually for 13 years, and now we're getting a little bit wobbly. So a lot of people are thinking, oh my goodness me, is a crash coming? Is a big sell-off coming? If that's you, if you're nervous, the advice of the pros is sell half of the stock. So if you've got 100 shares of Apple, sell 50. So you're still in the game, but you're taking your profit off the table, and that's yours. You can keep it and sleep easy at night. That would be the advice of the pros, and I think that's pretty good advice at this point. As for the cryptos, I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole. And if I did, I'd have to be absolutely sure that I can afford to lose every penny that I put into cryptos. That's my advice.
Yeah, wow, very well said. And then let me bring it back into you as a dad here, Stuart, for a minute. What type of disciplinarian were you as a dad with the kids growing up? And is that different than the discipline style that you grew up with?
Can you see my face right now? I'm kind of the disciplinarian in my family has been the women, and I'll put it like that. I am something of a libertarian. I was brought up in a household which did not impose strict discipline. My parents pretty much let me do whatever I wanted to do, within reason, of course, and it worked, I guess. Look at me now. But yeah, to answer your question seriously, I was not the disciplinarian. It's not my nature. I try to bring out the best in them rather than suppress the worst. I'm interested. Bring out the best. What's your talent? What are you good at? What makes you a good person? Bring that out. That's what I always tried to do. And let's see how successful we are, okay?
Yeah, and what has the transition been like for you? What has your experience been like going from dad to grandfather here with so many grandkids, 10 grandkids, as you said there? What has that been like for you as compared to being a dad?
It's the best. It's absolutely the best. I think I'm enjoying my grandchildren more than I enjoyed my children. And the reason is, when you start out, you really don't know what you're doing. And as I said before, you're trying to build a career. Maybe you're trying to buy a house. You're trying to do this and that. I mean, life is absolutely jam-packed full. You don't always have time for all the stuff you should have time for. But as a grandparent, you've got the time. You can hand the grandchild back when they start to cry or when they need something. And that's a wonderful position to be in. Love at first sight without all the problems that come later. How about that?
That sounds good. Yeah, I can hold off for now. I'm in no hurry to get there. And one thing that I'm not in a hurry to get to either is, like I said, my youngest is my only girl. She's only 6 now. I'm not looking forward to that moment where she gets there and starts hitting that dating scene. My oldest, like I said, is 15. He's just on the onset of getting involved in all this. You've been there, done that, got the grandkids. What is the best kind of advice that you gave your kids, especially daughters, when they started to hit that dating scene?
Ooh, well, you get right at it, don't you, lad? All right, Alec. Okay, here's the advice. You bring them home. I want to see this young man or whomsoever it is that you're dating. Bring them home. I want to shake their hand, look them in the eye, and then I'll tell you what I think about them. That's my rule. And when they come into the house at first and you're sitting in the kitchen, you really shouldn't be cleaning your gun. It's probably not a good idea, Alec, you know?
Yeah, I love. Yeah, and listen, I bring on a lot of Navy SEALs, a lot of military veterans and stuff like that. They've given some stuff like that. It's been, some of them are in a better position. Some fighters that I've had on, I'll have some of their fights on in the background as the guy comes in. So everyone's got a little something. But I'm trying to learn the best way to handle this myself when the time comes. And I know that we are just we're close here to Father's Day. What is the best Father's Day? What does the perfect Father's Day look like for you?
Best Father's Day, when I hear from every single one of my children and all of my grandchildren, that is the best Father's Day you can possibly have. The fact that they want to call you, that they want to be in touch, that they're interested in you. If I get that, I'm a happy camper. Case closed.
Yeah, I love that. So obviously here you've had a lot of success in your career over the course of your career here. What kind of goals or plans do you have for yourself here for the future? You have any plans on retiring? Any plans after that? Well, what kind of goals do you have for the future here?
Well, I don't want to give away any state secrets, but I am going to be 73 years old in a couple of months. And what I want is to be able to retire and still have a purpose in life. I'm not at retirement point yet. Maybe I'm fairly close, but I'm not there yet. But when I do retire, I want a purpose. I can't just retire and play golf or something. I don't play golf anyway. I can't just do nothing. I want a purpose. I've had a purpose all my life. When I retire, I want another purpose. And I don't know what that is yet. I'm going to find it.
Yeah, well said, Stuart. And the last thing I want to hit you with here, I love to ask all the dads that I get on the podcast, what type of advice do you have for that new dad or for that about-to-be father who's out there listening?
Get a sense of humor and have some patience. It's a very hard thing to do, but that's what is really necessary. A sense of humor. Be able to laugh at what goes wrong. It's very difficult, but if you can laugh at it, you're going to beat it. And also, relax if you can. Just try to relax. Try to step back a little bit. Don't get overwhelmed with all that's coming at you. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, very well said. I love the message. This has been an honor for me. I got to say, Stuart Varney, you're a first-class father all the way. And thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your time here on First Class Fatherhood.
Alec, thank you very much for having me. I really enjoyed it. Good luck, guy.